and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Thursday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Don't forget that this Saturday, being the second Saturday of the month, I will be at 244 Livestock Road, Easton Alley, Georgia, for SWA Wrestling. Doors open at 6 o'clock, and bell time will be 7 o'clock. I know I mentioned that earlier in the week, but I want to go ahead and put it out there. Again, if you're a fan of good wrestling, but don't want to pay a lot of money, instead of going to the big shows, good evening, Keveron. Glad to have you here, such as AEW and WWE, and paying $35, $40, you can come to 244 Livestock Road, Easton Alley, Georgia, Saturday night, and pay $5, and you can't beat that. The Alpha Balls is now selling t-shirts that have her name and logo on them. So come on out Saturday night and see them in person. We also have some brand new ladies that are wrestling that are now part of our promotion. So come on out Saturday night. Doors open at 6 o'clock. Bell time is 7 o'clock. 244 Livestock Road, Easton Alley, Georgia. And I apologize for not doing a top 10 countdown yesterday or Tuesday. I know that I do one just about every week and a half since the channel started, and I was planning on doing one this week. I didn't do it on Tuesday because I thought I'll do it on Wednesday. And then I think everybody knows by now that I work part-time in radio, and I had to cover some high school baseball yesterday. It was a doubleheader day, and one of the games went to extra innings. I didn't get home until about 10:30 last night, and I was like, screw it. I'm eating, taking a shower, and I'm going to bed. So I apologize for no top 10 countdown this week. Hopefully I'll bring it back next week, and I may do the one that I was going to do yesterday, and I may do a completely different one. You just never know. But tonight I want to talk some backlash. Backlash comes your way Saturday from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. And by the way, I always talk about you can comment on anything at any time. Well, I did a video one day last week, and honestly, I don't even recall what day it was, but one day last week where I was talking about quarterbacks in the Big 12. Hey there, Akila. Glad to have you here. Akila, I think it's the first time I've seen your name in the comment section. If this is your first time being here, thank you for stopping by. Please give the video a like, a thumbs up. That takes about 3 seconds. Share the video on all social media platforms. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. But I was doing a ranking of Big 12 quarterbacks, the worst to the best. And I was talking about Oklahoma State's quarterback. His name is spelled really weird, but I said in the video that, I'll go with this pronunciation, and thank God I was right. And that was one day last week, and somebody commented this morning and told me that I did end up saying the name correctly. I'm going to assume it was a Oklahoma State fan. So even on a video from last week, I got a comment about it today, and I appreciate that. But backlash comes your way Saturday night, St. Louis. Only 5 matches. I mentioned earlier in the week that they had announced 4, and I was assuming they were going to announce at least one more, and they did. And, Triple H seems like he's pretty content with only having 5 matches at all the PLEs except for you know, WrestleMania and SummerSlam because they're 2 nights. And I don't blame him because you'd rather have 5 quality matches than just have 5 good matches and then just throw together 2 or 3 matches just to have a 7 or 8 match card. And those 2 or 3 matches mean nothing. And it's just guys or girls in the ring wrestling for no reason. But when you have 5 matches, you know, you can give each match an average of 25 minutes, and that's over 2 hours of wrestling. Plus, you have, when you come on, you have the fireworks, the national anthem, and then in between each match, you have a highlight package. So, 5 matches are going to take you about 2 hours and 45 minutes, if not 3 hours. And to me, if it's not a huge PLE, 3 hours is all you need to go. And I'm not sure what your name is, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I would say it wrong. But I'm not a Kanye West fan at all, so I could not tell you what the latest Kanye song is. If somebody walked in the room right now and played the song, you have to tell me it was Kanye, or I wouldn't know it. And no, I am not from Texas. I appreciate you asking, but I'm not from Texas. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure how a Texas person talks, but I'm not from Texas. I know how the Louisiana real Cajun people talk, and I know how the folks from Boston talk, and I know how the Yankees talk, but I'm not sure how people from Texas talk, but I'm not from Texas, but I do appreciate you asking. But we got John Cena versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship. And to be honest with you, if John Cena hadn't just won this belt, I would really be wanting to watch this match. But since Cena just won the belt at WrestleMania 3 weeks ago, I would be stunned if he drops the belt to Randy Orton this fast. So to me, even though I think this has the potential to be a good match, when you already know the outcome, it kind of lessens it some. And I just don't see Cena losing the belt this fast. So to me, that's a throwaway match. Otherwise, if I didn't think that Cena was going to keep the belt since he just won it, I would be really intrigued to watch that match. Then we have Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I've mentioned before that, when MJF first made it big in AEW, I was a huge MJF fan. And for whatever reason, I've just kind of soured on him. Well, I feel kind of the same way with Lyra Valkyria. When I first seen her in NXT, I was like, man, this girl's going to be a good wrestler. And now she gets to the main roster, and now it's like, well, bathroom break. I don't know why I just went sour on her, and I've never liked Becky Lynch. Never, ever, ever. I turn the TV off before I watch Becky Lynch wrestle. Then we have Pat McAfee versus Gunther. This will be a great match because Gunther is the best wrestler in the world today. Now, the best wrestler of all time is Randy Orton, but the best wrestler currently is Gunther. But Pat McAfee can't wrestle, but he'll look okay going against Gunther. But it's not going to be a 5-star match because Pat McAfee's in it. He sucks as a broadcaster. He sucks as an analyst. He sucks as a host. Everything he does, he sucks at. He should be a Hoover vacuum cleaner. Then we have Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a fatal 4-way for the United States Championship. And Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. And I didn't watch the complete video, but I did see late last night when I was preparing for bed after my long day, where Triple H was talking about, social media and the internet is bad for wrestling, and some folks say it's good. Hey there, Mike. Glad to have you back on this Thursday evening. Some folks say it's good. Some folks say it's bad. I think it's good and bad both ways. It's good because you can promote it, especially for people like me who are in independent wrestling business. You know, you can use any kind of social media platform to promote. Not only yourself, but everybody that you work with in the wrestling business and your upcoming shows. But the downside of it is, and what Triple H was talking about, is all these what they call IWC, which is Internet Wrestling Community, and it's people that get on there and they bash everything you do. Okay, Mike, I'll see you later, brother. They bash everything you do. Nothing's ever good enough. When you do something, you're dumb for doing it. When you don't do something, you're dumb for not doing it. And hey there, Sonny, and happy birthday to you on this Thursday night. Sonny, hope this is the most prosperous birthday you've ever had. So, happy birthday to you here on this May the 8th, 2025. But they get on there and they bash everything you do. Nothing's ever good enough. They critique everything you do. And Triple H was talking about how everybody assumed, The Rock was going to, at WrestleMania, show up. And Triple H said, well, the thing is, he's making a movie. He couldn't be there. But all these IWC people get on there and they're trying to convince everybody that The Rock's going to be there. So you've got millions of people that are preparing for The Rock, when if you're in the know and you know anything, you know The Rock was not going to be there. The Rock could not possibly be there. So he said it's bad for the business. And Coda, I personally think the Chiefs are still a good team, but I think their greatness days are over. I think they're still a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to win any more Super Bowls. That's just my opinion. In any sport, no matter who you are, your runs have to come to an end. No team, nobody can dominate forever. And I think the Chiefs had their day, had their moment in the sun, but I think that is over with, and we'll find out whether or not I am correct. But thank you for asking, Coda. And Coda, I believe it's the first time I've seen your name in the comment section. If it's your first time being here, feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. And good to have you here, beautiful, bearded. I tell you what, I used to have a beard, but I shaved my head earlier today, and every time I shave my head, my wife decides to cut my beard as well. So it's gone from my beard down to a goatee. Now, I don't grow out one of those Duck Dynasty beards, never have. I try to keep mine trimmed, but she still cut it off. So I've gone from a beard down to a goatee. But hey, when you look this good, you need to show your face off a little bit. But, Triple H was saying that, people get on there and they talk and they know everything. And then, if you're a fan and you read that stuff, if any of it turns out to be right, well, then you're pissed off because you feel like, well, I knew that was going to happen because it was on, so-and-so website, it was on so-and-so social media page. But then you read that stuff, and if it's something that you want to happen and it doesn't happen, then you're mad that you were expecting it to happen and you wanted it to happen and it didn't happen. So if it happens, you're mad that it happened and it spoiled it for you. Then if you want it to happen and it doesn't happen, then you're mad that it didn't happen. So he was saying it's bad for the business because you don't want people to go in there knowing what's going to happen. It's kind of like a movie. If somebody watches a movie and they tell you word for word, scene by scene in the movie, then most folks are going to say, well, no reason to watch that movie. Well, it's kind of the same way in wrestling. If somebody tells you what's going to happen in every single match, there's no point in watching it. It's gotten better. There was a time a couple years ago where just about before every premium live event, people would start posting all the results. And the rumor was that Donovan Dijak was the one that was doing that, and that was the reason why Donovan Dijak got fired a couple years ago, was because Donovan Dijak would get on every website and every social media page he could, and he would tell you basically what was coming up on Raw, NXT, SmackDown, the premium live events, and he was right almost every time because he worked for the company. But nobody ever found out why he was doing it. You know, why are you wanting to put out spoiler results for a company that's paying you millions of dollars? Are you trying to complain because you're not doing more? Because if that's what you're intending to do, it's going to have the opposite effect. They're not going to use you, and they're going to use you even less when you're getting out there and putting out the results of what's fixing to happen. But that was the rumor, that Donovan Dijak was doing all that. And almost every time there was spoiler stuff listed, it was listed by Dijak. And I kind of tend to believe it because since he's been let go, now if you see stuff, it's more of what fans are wanting to happen or thinking will happen, which is fine. That's an opinion, and not basically, I'm going to tell you spot for spot what's happening all night long. And that's boring. Hey there, Star. Glad to have you here. So I guess social media is good in a way and bad in a way because it allows you to get on there and talk with other wrestling fans. The only problem is most of those social media wrestling pages are just like football or baseball or basketball, whatever sport that you like. Like, I'm a Clemson fan, and at one time I was involved in probably, I'd say, 10 different social media platforms that was just based on Clemson athletics. Some was just football, some was just basketball, some was just baseball, some was a school as a whole, some was about coaching, some was about the fan base, different things like that. And Star, my favorite ice cream used to be Moose Tracks, and I say used to be because I didn't stop liking it, but I decided about 3 weeks ago that I was going to stop eating anything sweet, and yes, that involves ice cream. Unless you're eating that calorie-free, sugar-free stuff, ice cream is not good for you. So about 3 weeks ago, I decided I was done eating sweets, so I haven't had any chocolate, any cookies, any crackers, any ice cream in about 3 weeks. Now, I still like the taste of Turtle Tracks or Moose Tracks, whichever one you prefer, but I just won't be eating them anytime soon. Sweets are just getting too expensive, and I thought, you know what? I can live without this stuff. I'm done. But I love sweets, but I gave it up. But I like Moose Tracks and Turtle Tracks. But the only problem with the wrestling social media pages is just like any kind of sport. You very, very rarely get anybody on there that's logical. You get about, just like the football or the baseball. Football, you get about 10% of fans that are going to back the coach no matter what. And if you say anything bad about the coach, you're not a real fan, you're an idiot, you're a dummy, you don't want to see your team succeed, all that kind of stuff. And then you get about 10% of fans that no matter what happens, they're going to bash the coach. Fire the coach, fire the whole staff, start over again. And if you say anything good about this team, you're an idiot, this team sucks. And then the 80% that are kind of neutral, in the middle, common sense fans, don't comment. It's the same way with wrestling. You've got the WWE people that no matter what happens, they're never going to bash WWE. Everything they do is great. And if you talk bad about them, you're a dummy. Stop watching. If it's so bad, why are you watching? And then you got about 10% of fans that, claim they don't like WWE, but yet It's all great. Everything is good. And then you get a few that are the opposite. You know, they say they like it, but yet everything they do, they hate it. It's the worst thing on TV. I want better wrestling. But then the fans that are kind of in the middle don't comment. AEW is the same way. You've got AEW fans that ever since the day the company started, it's AEW. They can't do no wrong. They can have 5 hours of wrestling with matches that don't mean diddly squat, and it's okay. It's AEW. It's great. It's better than WWE. Blah blah blah. And then you've got the AEW bashers that even if they do something good, they're not going to acknowledge it. So it's hard to find social media platforms where you can talk to people, not just wrestling fans, but any other sport that are logical. They're either extremely on the all good side or they're extremely on the all bad side. Most of the time, the ones that are in the middle just don't comment because the ones that are in the middle have better things to do than to sit down and take the time to go and post on some social media platform. So most of the time, whether it's wrestling, football, baseball, whatever, those fans, they're either really positive or they're really negative. So it drives you crazy because nobody on there is logical. They're either extremely positive or extremely negative. But I think the wrestling social media platforms are great as far as just promoting wrestling, especially if you're in the independent wrestling business, because we know we can promote all we want to. But it's bad because if you read this stuff and you believe it, it kind of spoils it for you. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. I used to be a baker, but I couldn't make enough dough. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.